Welcome to another Community Conversations. I'm your host, Ian Parkinson, and I'm very pleased to have with me today three young ladies from the City of Medicine Hat Land and Real Estate Department. Welcome, ladies.
Thank you for having us.
So we have Randi Buchner, who's the manager of Land and Real Estate. We have Leslie Cochrane, who's a real estate specialist, and also Kim Turton, who's a real estate specialist. So, land and real estate is a very small title for what I suspect is a large portfolio.
So the Land and Real Estate Department, we look after the city's land bank. So that's everything from managing that asset to acquisitions, sales and marketing, and then also land development. So within our team, we have Leslie and Kim, our two real estate specialists. We also have the surface land administration side.
Right.
And then we have a team member too that really supports both. So the city has always had two land departments, and over the last few years has streamlined that into combining them. So it's pulling all those skill sets together under one roof.
Right.
And it's great because we get to manage like the land within the city, but then that's also a little bit broader in supporting the gas production department as well.
Well, that's what I was going to ask, because your land and real estate department is actually interprovincial.
With having everything under one roof in supporting gas production and due to where different gas wells are located, we do have land in Alberta outside of Medicine Hat and then also into Saskatchewan as well.
So it's your department that's actually, I mean, you don't take care of the wells, but I guess your department, real estate and surface land, you're overseeing all the documentation, the work for well abandonment and rehabilitation and planting the grass.
Yeah, so our surface land team, they're really integrated into supporting that, and a lot of it is making sure that the right-of-ways are in place or doing some of the work with the regulator as well. But yeah, they're very, very integrated into the work that's going on within that group.
So if you see a 306 area code on your phone, you don't panic?
No. No, we don't.
So how does the city, through your department, provide space for development?
So the city has been a land developer for quite some time in residential, commercial, and industrial land. With that, most recently, I think the public would be familiar with SAMA 7, that was a city subdivision, Southlands, as well as ranch lands. But looking into the future, one of the things we're working on is the land strategy. So that's really to focus on what are the actions we're taking, and a part of that is land development and where should we be going, and looking at the growth of the city and what are the right locations, but also trying to complement the private investment that's also being made through land development. We're not the only land developer within Medicine Hat, and so looking to complement the work that they already have underway. But there's areas of the city that the public would be familiar with would be future phases of ranch lands, as well as Briar Run, and then there's also the Northwest Industrial Park as well.
Right. So, but the city as a developer I'm thinking developing the lots ready for the private developer to get a contractor and build something on it. You don't build buildings.
No, so we're not in the building area, so we're not building the homes, but the city has in the past and would continue to bring lots onto the market so that builders have that option, but there are other developers within the community that are doing that as well.
So when can we see your new land strategy?
So work is underway with that internally, and then the intent is to have it to council by the end of Q2 of this year. So in the coming months, we'll have some actions together that will represent what our department will be looking to do in the near future, but also looking longer term so that there's that longevity of how are we remaining nimble and adaptable to how the community is changing over time.
I like that word, nimble. It's unusual for a municipal bureaucracy.
You know, we have our policies and our processes, but we are looking for ways to try to bring efficiencies to that, but also keeping, the appropriate guardrails in place to make sure decisions do reflect what council and the community are looking for. but also that we're making good financial decisions with the developments that we're taking on. So
I would imagine too, you, Leslie, you probably interface a lot with a lot of other city departments as well as the private developers and the contractors.
We do a lot of collaboration with them. In fact, we've worked really hard the last year and a half to reach out to our builders and developers in the community to get those relationships, find out what their needs and wants are, what their struggles are, and what can we do better to help them.
And I would imagine you might take a deep breath when economic development shows up at your office door and goes, hey, we need 1,000 homes, we're going to put this factory in.
We work really closely with economic development as well, and I think the city's in a really good place because we do have development areas that could be actioned if and when that happens. So our readiness is there, and now it's just fine tuning of when do we take those actions, and that'll be through defining some of that in the land strategy.
Okay, so if I have it right, Leslie again, the land bank is the empty lot.
The land bank is all the land that the City of Medicine Hat owns. So we have over 5,000 acres of land, and that has been we've gotten that over the last 100 years through annexation and acquisitions. Some of it for municipal purposes, some for utility purposes, some just for strategic growth. We're in a position where we'll have land to develop the next residential phases, as well as commercial and industrial land as well. So as opportunities come to the city, we're in a great position for that future growth.
Well, I suppose that's true, yeah, because you need that surplus empty space, because otherwise then all of a sudden you've got to put all this infrastructure in.
Yeah, the long-term planning is key to what we're looking at too, of where economically does it make sense to also grow next.
Yeah, and you must work closely, I'm sure, with the utilities departments too, because they've got to run power and gas and water and sewer and roads and sidewalks.
Yeah, we get to work with all the different departments, which is great though. I think it's within the city, it's great to be able to reach out to your partner departments and work with them. And that's we spend a lot of time working with different departments like planning and development and municipal works and environmental utilities. So yeah, there's a lot of collaboration that takes place.
So what kind of issues do you face in the land and real estate business?
So, we were chatting about this with our team. There's issues that we have as a land holder and a land owner, and we're with all the work that we do. But one of the unique things with the city is those issues, we also have the opportunity to solve some of them ahead of time. So with the land that we own, we do a lot of the work up front so that when someone's looking at purchasing that land or doing an investment, a lot of that's done ahead of time for them. The lot's somewhat ready to go. And so that provides a great opportunity for someone looking at Medicine Hat who wants to purchase land that we have. And Kim,
one of I wouldn't really say it's an issue, but one thing that when we're looking at the city growth, we just, we ask all communities to be a little bit mindful of some change that could come up. So when we're developing in an existing area, we call it like an infill lot. So when we're selling those infills, or else we have developers come to us and say this is kind of their vision, we just ask if everyone could, just kind of have that open mind. Is this something that would broaden not just their community, but the overall city?
Yeah, because there was, now infill, that's not just the newer developments like Southlands or Ranchlands. Right. It's also the smaller individual lots within, say, downtown?
Exactly. So with our inventory as it sits today, we do have a little bit of both. Okay. So an infill lot we would call on 1064 First Street Southwest, which is close to the highway. And that would be, a great opportunity for any kind of mixed use. And then there's lots of discretionary uses. Yeah. So we did have a pending offer, which has since fallen through, but that was for some condos on that lot. And then, so that would be something we would call infill. We also have what we call greenfield, which would be more of those ranch lands, 21 ranch lands and 48. Mm-hmm. So that's neighborhood commercial or multifamily. And, those lots up there, close to schools, close to walking paths, there's shopping, there's, one of the finest golf courses in the city. So location-wise is great. and then we also have Primrose Drive.
Which makes sense why the two of you are real estate specialists, because you've got to think kind of out of the box how to help this developer get this piece out of the bank.
Yeah, I think coming from the private sector, you have sometimes a different lens on things. So with Leslie and I together, we've got 30 years worth of real estate experience in the city. And it's important that, you know, you kind of remember this is what we looked for when we were on that side. So how can we work, you know, for the city, but make sure that we're, you know, still wanting to see that growth and be an ambassador for the city.
Well, and I imagine it's kind of a bit like a spiral, because you've got a young person comes into Medicine Hat to start work. They probably start in an apartment. But then as their lifestyle develops, they get a partner, they decide to build a home. So where do we go? So do you want a new one? And then they get one, and then they have family and kids, they need a bigger one. And then the parents get sick, so then we need a bigger one. And then the kids move for university, so there must be a constant flow, which I imagine as a real estate agent in the past you've seen continually.
Yeah, I think you need to have opportunities for all kinds of sizes of families. So when we focus more just on the single family lots in that sector, and there's other developers that also have lots for sale in the city. It's not just us, but we want some that are a little bit smaller, some that are a little bit larger. We want some that have views, because depending on where you are in your life cycle of buying and selling, you have different options, you have different opportunities. You know, what's most important.
Oh, okay. Now it's beginning to make sense, because the city owns lots in developed subdivisions, but then you sell serviced but undeveloped lots to a developer.
We have a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
I'll say.
So
or
we
to
have
a homeowner too, not always just the builder.
And with the development areas we have right now, so Samus 7, that's an area, and would encourage anyone to drive through there right now, because as Kim mentioned, there's a diversity of builders within that area that are now building within Samus, and it's great to see, and it's also adding housing units for the community.
Probably taxes.
Yeah, but it's filling that community need, which is wonderful. And then too, we do have some of these other properties that can fill those other gaps when it comes to, as you mentioned, like within your life cycle, if you're looking to be from a home to an apartment or a condo, some of these sites do offer that opportunity for a developer to build that type of development. And that's what we're seeing on one of the other lots that we've seen a success on, which was the 800 block of 2nd Street, where new units will be brought on through apartment buildings.
Yeah.
And another thing with those cycles, in neighborhoods, you see those cycles too. Mom and dad age out of their house, maybe they can't take care of themselves there anymore, but would love to stay in the neighborhood because they know it, they love it, they walk it, they have friends there. Well, if we have an infill site and a developer can build brand new condos in the area, well, what a great spot for mom and dad to move into.
Yeah, because I'm in the Marlborough Connaught area, and I've noticed quite a few seniors have built backyard suites, I think they're called, or garden homes, so that the kids move into the house with their kids, but grandma has this suite with independence, but she's close enough you can just, leg it out in your jammies in case you hear a crash, which is a very clever idea.
Yeah. With the inventory we have, there's a lot of opportunity for developments like that, but also allowing people to build maybe what they're looking for to fit their needs based on where they're at within that housing cycle that they'll be going through.
Yeah. So is there anything else you'd like to add?
Yeah, in the last year and a half, like I said before, we've worked really hard to meet with the builders and developers and just regain that trust and have those relationships. And we also collaborate with all the other departments, as we said earlier. We really like to have our clients know when they come to us that we'll kind of be with them every step of the way. Yeah. We're not just going to help them choose a new lot, but we'll get them in touch with planning and let them know what happens next, and maybe even write some conditions into that offer that will protect them as they move along to make sure they can build what they want to build in these areas. Yeah. So, we really want to kind of offer that concierge service to our clients, right? Customer service is such a big thing in real estate. If you don't have good customer service, your clients will use somebody else. Yep. So Kim and I really have brought that to the department, just to make sure that everyone knows that they're heard and that they can reach out, and we're always going to get back to them. And if we don't have the answers, we'll find it out for them.
Well, so you have that connection within the realtor community.
That's right.
Not just locally, but in the region. Mm-hmm. So, there's a lot of horse trading backwards and forwards on contacts and ideas.
That's right.
It's really working with the community and some of the groups within the community. Yeah.
Anything else?
Well, one of our goals as a team for 2025 is to see something happen out at our airport lands. So we have 3 parcels out there that are currently for sale. So all the information's on the website, different sizes, different prices. Some of them are serviced out there. So one of our goals this year is to really market that and try to bring something, whether that's, a franchise, a drive-through, a hotel, a gas station. I mean, there's many, many ideas, but it's just such a great location, and being located on Highway 3, and even with the potential twinning of Highway 3, that location will not change. So anyone can go on to Alberta Transportation, onto their website, and they can see the different options, just for peace of mind that where we've put money into the land, that will always stay as highway commercial properties. Yeah.
Well, because that's just occurred to me, because the provincial government now in the last 2 to 3 years has started talking about corridors. Mm-hmm. And we seem to be at the center of not only Highway 3 and Highway 1, but aerospace, defense, chemicals, agriculture, food production. So they need bigger spaces. Yeah.
That's right. And we even thought, there's so many businesses that could do well out there, but even logistics, or, you get like a large courier company, things like that, because they do talk about that being the food corridor.
Mm-hmm. So Leslie, if somebody's looking at moving to Medicine Hat, or is new in town, or is looking to do something different, how do they get the information? Who do they contact?
Well, they can reach out to us directly by calling us, or they can go on the City of Medicine Hat website. We've got all our publicly listed land for sale on the site. They can get as much information as they need from it, and then they can phone us or email us anytime for additional information. If they're looking at buying land that isn't currently for sale, sometimes we get calls from people that say, there's a little strip of land beside my fence or behind my backyard. Does the city own it, and can I buy it? Well, there is a form on there that kind of explains the process, how long it takes, what it might cost, and then they can send the information to us, and then we can evaluate it and see if that's a possibility.
And that would, I guess, also entail tying in building and development services.
For sure. We would have to reach out to all departments and see if there's a reason that we couldn't sell the land, and if it's a possibility. But then before even getting into that process, they can look at the timelines and just see how it all works. So it's just a really good resource for anybody who wants to buy land that's not currently listed for sale. And that goes for any piece of land, not necessarily just a little sliver, but they may notice a piece of land or know a piece of land that we have available that isn't currently for sale. That would be the same process.
So don't be shy.
That's right. Reach out
Call
anytime.
Land and Real Estate.
Yeah. That's right. And we also, if you want to keep updated on what is happening in the city with the Land and Real Estate Department, we do have a newsletter. We've just started that. I think we've sent out 2. And so it's going to come out quarterly. So you can subscribe to that on our website or on LinkedIn as well.
This so-called forgotten corner of the province is actually a very busy place with a lot of different things going on at the same time. And you just get a handle on one and somebody else pops up.
I think that's part of the work that we're doing with the land strategy too, is being ready for that. So working alongside economic development and the work that they have underway, but when those things are coming together and happening within the community, that we're ready, or that we can be ready for what that looks like.
Well, when you get your land strategy approved by the powers that be, we'll have you come back and explain it to us.
That'd be great. Yeah, we'd be happy to. Really looking forward to having the foundation in place so that we can kind of take those actions and make some things happen. So, and I think we have the right people to do that.
I look forward to supporting you all in it.
We appreciate that.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming in, ladies.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Thank you for watching.